Well, as this pandemic continues and we are mostly confined to our homes, mental health professionals are seeing an increase in anxiety and isolation. But there are several free resources available for people across the Bay Area. KPIX 5's Jackie Ward is live in San Francisco with more. Jackie.
Liz, 17 people have died from the coronavirus in San Francisco so far, and sadly 12 people have taken their own lives from March 1st of this year till today. That's 4 more people than this time last year. We spoke to someone who suffers from depression who has a message of hope for those who may need to hear it.
John Paul Strom says he has suffered from depression for years, but this past week was one of the hardest he's had during this pandemic.
Well, I'm stir crazy, but aren't we all?
Like everyone else, he's been confined to his home for weeks, which doesn't help those feelings of isolation and darkness that people with depression may already battle on a daily basis.
A lot of negativity, a lot of the kind of thoughts and feelings that if I'm busy or I'm out in the world, I can sort of tune out. When you're all alone in your room, they're right there with you.
But John Paul is focusing on hope and love rather than fear and hate.
I'm trying to look at it as sort of this too shall pass.
Unfortunately, that's not the case for everyone. Van Hedwall with San Francisco's Suicide Prevention says high-risk calls, or those that may need emergency services sent to them, are at an all-time high, up almost 30% in just the last week and a half.
Specifically for as long as we shelter in place, I think people have more time to think. I think people become more isolated.
Callers experiencing anxiety and loneliness are also up almost 30% and have incrementally increased as the shelter-in-place order has been in effect. Hedwall says isolation and lack of sleep are the most common contributors to suicidal thoughts. But there's help available for nearly any concern you have right now.
Just remember, that's what depression does to you. It closes the blinds and locks you in the basement. And it will pass, and that you're worth it to survive through that period.
People are also calling with concerns of financial hardship and potentially becoming homeless. In fact, people with financial concerns, those calls are at an all-time high. They're up 15%. So if you have an issue, regardless of how big or small it is, you can call for immediate help at 211. But we have a whole list of other resources listed on our website, kpix.com. In San Francisco, Jackie Ward, KPIX 5.